Harding is fine.
Nicole Pellegrino.
They're
Caroline Crawford Patterson. Honey, we're home.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Honey, We're Home. Today is Honey, the in-laws are driving me crazy, but not my in-laws if you're listening.
Where we air everybody else's dirty laundry because secrets are no fun unless they're shared with everyone, which is actually a joke. I get in trouble for that like 24/7.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into this amazing episode, which you all have highly requested about in-laws, this episode is sponsored by Bride Bright, which both Caroline and I truly know and love very well. It's a company that's been like really our ride or die for years.
Yeah. I feel like if you picture yourself like walking down the aisle and having like this gleaming wedding smile for you and I, like the go-to for picture perfect moments. And I feel like they have something for everyone.
And as we've learned from past episodes, I'm a drill sergeant when it comes to teeth. So I also, in addition to like myself and my teeth, I make Mike really live by this. So we love the couples bundle. They make our smiles brighter than ever. And we're all about like the touch-up life. And it's so easy with their refill whitening pens.
And they just launched this Brighten all-in-one bundle, which I did recently gift to John because he's been looking for a new toothbrush. What's great about it is it has like a whitening setting.
We've had the toothbrushes forever. We're obsessed. Don't wait and grab that all-in-one bundle now. Trust me, you guys, it's going so fast.
If you use the code HONEY, you get a 40% off discount at checkout, so do not forget about that.
Stay up to date with Bride Bright on Instagram at Bride Bright and TikTok at Bride_Bright. And to get your hands on these fantastic products available at Anthropologie, Saks, Bloomingdale, Zola. Don't forget to visit their website at www.bridebright.co. That's BRIDEBRITE.co.
Do not wait any longer. Go get your Bride Bright today. Get all the bundles and get ready to shine. So, in the spirit of it still being the new year, we both wanted to share with you some goals that we both individually have for our relationships in 2024. Nikki's going to go first.
So, all in all, my big goal when we were thinking about this, I was like, I have a lot of goals for my marriage, obviously, all the time. But the big one for this year, simply making a conscious effort to fuse into one being. Let me explain that. So basically, like, Mike and I, obviously, we've known each other for 10 freaking years. We've already been up each other's booties. I've said that before. We are already one being, but, like, even more as we're planning for the future, for a family, stuff like that, like, it is so important to logistically become one. And when I say that, my big goal for the year is to have a shared calendar. I already created one. We don't have that yet. Like, and we just... as we both progress in lives and careers, our schedules get insane. We both just like, it's just so hard to be on the same page when we don't see what each other's doing. So we have a new shared calendar, GCal. We're moving everything to digital.
Yeah, you're a Google Calendar girl.
Yeah, well, it wasn't until like now.
But you don't use your Apple calendars.
Oh, yeah, you had to teach me how. For somebody who works in digital media, I am an 87-year-old. All last year, a planner. I would miss dates. I would miss events and stuff because it was written down in my planner and I didn't look. Like, that is how antiquated I am. So
there's something cute about it, though.
So that's one. I'm a grandmother. Like, when I say fuse into one, I mean bank accounts. My siblings and people think it's insane that we have separate bank accounts.
Yeah.
We have one shared that we don't actually use. We just use for wedding money that we got. We're going to merge stuff like that. I have to figure out, like, how, and that will be a whole separate episode where we figure out merging finances.
Yeah.
Because right now, we split everything down the middle, but everything's still separate. Like, we're like, not every single thing. Like, we obviously he pays for most of our meals. I pay for stuff here and there. Rent, the big things we split down the middle. But we just need to merge finances. Like, people think we're crazy for that. And then just all in all, I want to, like, really become one person. Like, I want us to become, like, creepy robots who finish each other's sentences and who know what each other's thinking.
That's, like, a thing about marriage, though, is that, like, I always say that. I'm like, even if you live together, whatever, before you get married, which, like, obviously most people do, but, like, the second you walk down the aisle, like, there is something weird that happens inside your body where you're, like, kind of just became one with that person. And, like, you cannot describe it, but if you felt it, like we have, like you know what I'm talking about. Like it is like a legitimate feeling. Like I'm still my own person. I get it, but like yeah, like we're honestly an entity.
Yeah, you can communicate with just a look. That's
Yeah.
how you know a marriage is the best.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
we already do that, so like props to us, and I'm sure you guys do too. But I want to even become more one.
Right. No, I mean I feel like that's a good goal though.
And I want to do couples therapy.
Yeah,
That's the big one.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
Which
good
you
one.
already, you're a therapy baby. So
Well, that leads me to mine, which is starting the pre-baby therapy, which I've realized only over the past few weeks. Like I obviously like talked about like wanting to do it, but it's like becoming more real of a subject. I know myself, and I like to go to somebody when I sit down to do like purpose therapy, like I'm having therapy for this event that's going to happen. I like to go well in advance so like they can like assess me and be like, this is how long I think it will take. Like I don't want to go into like a 6-week program, an 8-week program. I want it to take like however long it takes.
as long as you want.
And more recently, like the conversations are getting so real to the point that it's like I can feel that they are not low stakes anymore.
Do you currently go once a week?
I have like my own therapy that I go to once a week.
Oh, really?
But now I will like want to start baby therapy.
Pre-baby, like with the intention.
Parenthood therapy, yeah. Like I want to be pushed.
Yeah.
Like all of the stuff that John and I talk about, really everything. So like we don't have lighthearted conversations. I mean, we do, but we have a lot of like really deep conversations, and we're really not scared to like disagree with each other, and neither one of us are the type to sit down and be like, I'm just going to like let this one lie. Like, of course, sometimes you do that, but not on things that really matter. And so we can really tell where like cracks are going to be. And I'm eager now to like kind of start to work them out because I feel like it's getting closer.
Yeah. I think pre-baby therapy is a good idea. I just wouldn't want it to psych me out
Yeah.
and make me overthink.
I don't think it will. I mean, for me, I don't think it will, just because I know that that was a mentality going into premarital counseling, and it made getting married that much better. Like it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not that it
true.
was hard.
That's a
Like,
good
don't get me
point.
wrong.
You
It just
did it for yeah.
Yeah, but like it made it, because at the end of the day, like I have confidence that like if this is an issue now when we're talking about it, not even an issue, but if I can tell it could be, then it will 100% be an issue then.
Yeah.
So I would rather talk about it before there's like another life at stake.
Yeah.
You know, like when there's an opportunity for us to like show that we can work something out.
Yeah.
Then like have the argument when we're like physically fighting over another life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I need to get into like individual therapy. That's my personal goals. We won't even go into all of those, but that's the like number one on my. I've talked to a couple. They're all too nice. I need a mean therapist.
Yeah.
I need a therapist who's gonna like grab me by the fucking neck and be like, "You're being stupid."
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good point, because my favorite therapist was like that. And I felt like we would like spar.
I
And
need them to tell me how it is. This one I talked to was so sweet. I still might work with her because she just like was so nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, go
Our
on.
other goal for this year, I'm like, I want to establish a thing where we're going on one trip a year that is just for ourselves, that we save for a plan, that's not OPW, which is like other people's weddings.
Oh.
We're at an age where like literally your trip is weddings. Like
Yeah.
your vacations are other people's weddings.
We're doing London this year for a wedding.
And I am just so nervous that if we don't, everybody says this before they get married. I want to get married and wait a few years, have babies so that we can explore the world together. Okay, psych, because actually after you get married, everybody else is getting married, and those are all of your vacations.
I think too, for us, it needs to include like not a work trip, because we'll get invited on like brand things and whatnot, or like PR stuff, but you're working on them. Like,
Yeah, it's not
Mike
the
and I are
same.
going to the Bahamas this month, but I'm posting about it. Like I'm gonna be working on that trip, and thus he's working with me. So I think like it's so important to plan a trip like that, just the two of you, and unplug.
I want to start doing that now, because I think if we wait, we'll never start doing it.
Where will it be to?
I really want it to be Japan this year.
Oh.
Well, not me. John wants it. John wants to go to Japan. Yeah, John wants to go to Japan, and he got a promotion last month, and then
Congrats.
also Christmas. And I was like, well, this will be a good one. But I haven't bought tickets yet, because again, we sat down to go through the dates, and we were like,
No,
we
good
can't
time.
really figure it out. And so I'm like, we just need to pick a date, buy it, because this is what happens to us every single year.
Or I think the thing with a wedding is if you have an international wedding, plan your own trip attached to it. That's what
I
we're gonna
love
do.
that one. Didn't you do that last year?
Yeah, we do that
You
anytime.
did Greece. Yeah, that was great.
Well, no, Greece didn't count. We don't. It was the worst 3 days of my fucking life, and that was with 2 other couples. It was like the weirdest part of Greece ever. Don't recommend. I think that's a good way about it. But Japan will be sick. So
I love
plan
that.
it. Actually, send your itineraries for Japan.
Yeah, we'll talk
to
about
Caroline.
it. Maybe, yeah.
You wrote down joint holiday.
Oh, okay. I'm pumped about this one. I think that this is the year of the joint Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I have worked on
Beach
this.
house.
Yes. Yes, I've worked on this. Also, someone threw out, well, when I say throw out, like, let's not act like I haven't been planting the seed for 6 years. So somebody finally threw out, maybe we could do like a brownstone in New York so that we could see the Macy's Day Parade, which I have always wanted to do.
Like renting on Airbnb.
Yeah, and I really want to do
idea.
it. And I don't know. I don't really care if it's the beach house or in New York. Like, I'm just freaking pumped. No, like, I will plan it now. Like, John's family, it plans trips further in advance than my family. So, like, figuring out how to respect both boundaries and, like, get people to commit more in advance than they're used to, while also planning something in advance enough that, like, fits the other family style of planning is hard. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. Like, I'm booking it in, like, February. We're freaking doing it.
You have to just book now. That's what I've realized. Whoever wants to come, comes. I took the liberty somehow. I don't know how the fuck I, out of all people, got roped into this. But with our wedding in August, I want to do Italy before because we just, like, miss Italy with my whole side of the family. And I said in the big group text, I was like, I'm going to book it now. Whoever can come. I'll find us hotel rooms that are reasonably priced. And, like, 2 of my aunts were like, yes. 2 of the others were like, maybe.
Wait, like aunts and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
extended.
really nice. Good job.
But I still need
Good job.
Thank you. I'm trying. We're trying.
That's impressive. Here's the thing that people are like, I'm not trying to force people to hang out. Like, I know for a fact, like, all of our siblings are the same age. We vibe together. Our parents vibe. Like, no one doesn't vibe. It's just when you're working with 20 million different planning styles and schedules, it's hard. And then there's always a few people that are like it's too much effort, like it's not worth the effort. And I'm like, you know what though, it is worth the effort. I don't like when
once
people
you're
tell
there
me
it's worth the effort.
I know, I don't like it when people tell me like it's not worth the effort, because I'm like, everything you've ever done is the result of somebody putting in more effort than it was probably worth.
Yeah, it's just the initiative is tough.
We love a little episode follow-up. And on our baby episode, we talked about baby fever being like fleeting. Like, is it actually baby fever? And one person said, and now we're all going to start saying this, she actually has a baby low grade temperature. And I think that that's like the most brilliant thing ever.
I love that. Baby temp at
She's a baby temp.
95.
She's got a mid temp for a baby.
We're getting up there. So anytime we refer to like our status, that's kind of how I would describe my status.
Yeah, I have a mid-level temp.
Yeah, baby low grade temp.
Like, it's really not a fever. It's just a low grade temp. And like, when an aunt asks me, I'm gonna be like, I just have like a mid temp.
Yeah.
They're gonna actually.
If your aunt's like, oh, what do you mean? Just be like, look it up. You should know by now because you should be listening to Honey, We're Home.
Google it.
So as we mentioned, this whole episode, we're going to make it centered around in-laws. We have some really funny emails and just like a really funny in-law story. This will not be the first time that we talk about in-laws because the amount of content that you guys sent in was honestly overwhelming, but so freaking funny. One of you sent a really funny DM. It says it's about your in-laws. My husband and I are due to have a baby in February this year. We chose a name but are waiting till birth to announce it. However, it was mentioned that we purchased a sign for the baby's room with his name on it. Some family was surprised we wouldn't tell them the name. Some of our family was surprised we wouldn't tell them the name and almost offended. LOL. So my aunt-in-law for this one. Yeah. So my aunt-in-law was trying to come up with a plan for my mother-in-law to sneak over to our house to locate the sign and find out the name. Thankfully, my mother-in-law was like, no way. I love this one because it's the aunt-in-law.
The aunt. She's trying to like crawl through the doggy door. How do you sneak over to somebody's house?
Right. Like, what is this, Mission Impossible? I don't know. It's just so funny. This one I love because obviously when kids start coming into the picture, that's when like a lot of the in-law problems come out way more. And that's when you get a little more feistier with sticking up, as we've talked about in last episodes. Like, you grow a pair when you have kids involved. versus like now we just like don't. I just like this though because the name thing, my sister like held her names private until the babies were born for my 2 nephews, and I remember always being like, why? Just tell us the name. But if you think about it, the name is like the wedding dress except on steroids. Like you know when you show people.
Never thought about it like that.
Yeah, my biggest regret is showing people my wedding dress before I got married.
This sucks. Everybody already knows my names. I can't go back now.
Oh, well, the thing with the wedding dress is the biggest regret, why I regret showing people. I literally had an aunt, I won't say who, but one of our aunts was like, she couldn't hide her disdain for my dress on her face. She pretended to like it, but I could tell she didn't. And those opinions get kind of in your head and cloud your own judgment. So I don't want that happening with my future babies' names. I'm not saying a word to anybody except for my husband until that baby's born. And so I just thought this was funny that the aunt's like desperately trying to find out.
I really wish I knew that before I started telling everybody my names.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, when you tell people your names, they're like,
no takesies backsies at this point.
Yeah, no. I mean, I also tell people my names left and like friends. I read off the names, but it's like 20 on each. Yeah, for each gender.
I guess the thing with names versus wedding dress is I've thought about it for so long. Where I'm like, if someone doesn't like it, I'd be like, all right, well, suck it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, but again, it's like there's no wow factor to it. Then.
That I don't even care about the wow factor. I care more about the opinions. Like, I don't need to know that you don't like the name.
Yeah.
And I love my family and my in-laws to death, but they have opinions and they're gonna have opinions about the names.
Good for the mother-in-law for like literally saying like back up, but then part of me thinks it's because she already knows. Yeah. Like 100. I just have this instinct that 100% either her son accidentally said it to her, and he was like, Mom, take this to your grave that I accidentally told you. Or like, you know, people get things like engraved and monogrammed. Like she already put it together through like a monogram or something that she accidentally saw. And I feel like that's why she's like, no. Like, leave it alone, Karen. She already knows.
Yeah.
She fully knows.
It's such a permanent thing. Like a wedding dress is one thing. It's like you wear it for a day, you're done. A name is permanent. Like when you fall in love with a name and you want that, you're naming your child that. Like I don't need any like false negative opinions coming in on that. I already know for a fact Mike is gonna tell his mother and like lie to me about it.
Literally, as much as I get in trouble for it, he has a big mouth too, and I know he's gonna accidentally say it and be like, okay, we're all gonna pretend like I didn't say that. John, if you're listening, I know I have a big mouth, but so do you.
Mike's mom, who again I love to freaking death. She's going to demand that we tell her. My one friend, Madeline, shout out to you, Madeline, with her wedding dress and with her baby's name.
She kept
so tight-lipped. Told us the initials. It was a fun little guessing game.
She could have been a spy in World War II.
Oh, me and our other friend were like, you got to tell us. I think I threatened her life. And she was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. And I was like, come on, it's us. And she was like, nope. Like, that's how you got to be.
And it would make you so mad, but in the end, you're like, well, I'm really impressed with you.
Yeah.
Really impressed. She
didn't tell her in-laws. She didn't tell us.
And if this mother-in-law doesn't know, like, you're better than me. Because I would be saying, leave it alone, girly, because I already know.
Yeah.
And then nobody else needed to know.
When I'm a mother-in-law, I'm going to be the one who needs to know. Like, I'm going to
be
I
find this to be actually funny because, like, I hella would snoop.
Yeah.
I am a snooper.
Yeah.
Could snoop forever.
Same.
I love a good snoop. So our next email it's very relatable, honestly, to like in-law issues. My husband and I have been together for 6 years and have both good relationships with each other's families. Our families operate very differently in that my family is very organized and plan things out in advance, and my husband's family is more go with the flow and will make plans last minute. I feel like this is great because everyone typically has like that duo dynamic. We often balance each other out well because he helps me be a little bit less stringent and I help him be more structured sometimes. The older we get, the more the last minute details and not planning ahead with his family drives me nuts. Specifically with my mother-in-law. She lives a couple of hours away from us, so when she comes over, we like to invite her to stay the night. I'm fine with this when we have ample notice. Oftentimes, she's contacting us with just a couple of days' notice, asking us if she can come over. Most of why I do not like the last minute planning with this is because of the just staying overnight. When we have guests stay overnight, there's just a certain condition I want parts of our house to be in. Many times my mother-in-law will say she's not spending the night and then end up spending the night last minute. Also, when she does stay the night, she'll often hang out at her house the next whole day or so. I just generally have very different habits than my mother-in-law. For example, they eat differently and they just like hang out around the house differently and they enjoy different things. She says, I think on both ends we are accepting of each other's differences. I think to her, when my mother-in-law asked to come over last minute, it seems casual and low key, but to me, it significantly weighs on me mentally and disrupts my routines. My husband knows that this bothers me, but does not know how to go about handling it since it does not bother him. Typically, if there are conversations we need to have with our families, I will handle everything related to my family and he handles everything related to his. And she just wants thoughts and opinions. I don't think we're going to agree on this.
Why?
I think she needs to say something to him or to her.
Oh, I know why you're saying we're not going to agree. You're saying she needs to say something to the in-laws. Well, first of all, just to like acknowledge this email, which was a doozy, props to you for reading it because it's long. I can relate to, unfortunately, the husband's family. I think this happens in a lot of cases with couples. One couple's family is so bad at planning, plans something the day before, the others plans in advance.
Yeah.
My family, I don't know what it is. I think it's because my mom is no longer with us, who was the planner. My dad is the most type B, C, whatever. He's just busy. He doesn't have time to plan.
Well, she said type A marries into type B family. That's how she signed it.
Yeah. And I understand her frustration, but then again, I understand his side almost more because this is so something my family would do. Like, we're just awful planners. I know Mike gets so frustrated with us. Like, he'll literally be like, your family's just not planning this big thing. Like, we'll have a vague plan, but then nothing will be set. And he's like, I've got to plan travel. Like, I'm the one navigating us there, driving.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That's how John is too with us.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of her dynamic, but like I do think that most couples have it because also like I like to be type A about certain things and I appreciate that John's not type A about those things. There are certain things he's type A about that I like to be type B about. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be too many cooks in the kitchen if we both were type A about all the same things. And then it would be...
That's a good way to look at it. You don't want two type A.
No. And then if we were both type B about everything or the same things, that also... things would really slip like through the cracks. But while it works in a relationship, it doesn't really work with in-laws.
Right. So how do you think that she should go about setting boundaries with her in-laws?
Personally, like I mentioned a few episodes back, that I felt like I was getting to a place in our relationship where like the relationships are strong enough where like if I ever was like needed to say something, I should learn how to say it myself instead of like always going through John. And you were like, I think that happens when you have kids because you like grow the backbone to say something when kids are involved. Mm-hmm. But I think this is an opportunity for her to like test that out a little bit because it doesn't bother him. He understands why it bothers her, but it doesn't bother him.
And call me fake, call me a wimp, call me whatever you want, because your perspective, this is where we disagree. Your way of handling this is the mature way and the like real way, and I would argue like the better way too. Like honestly, if you're gonna take somebody's advice from this, take Caroline's.
No, I want to hear that.
But mine, I just know myself, if this were happening again, until there are kids involved, that's when I'll become a fierce hawk. Like, watch out. I'll become a mama bear.
Yeah, you're going to say, yeah.
But until then, I just, like, want to do everything I can. I think your relationship with your mother-in-law is so important, especially when your significant other, your husband in this case, is close to her. And I wouldn't want this to subconsciously, like, sever that relationship with her and like make her not like you. I just don't know if it's worth it. If it bothers you a ton, if she's doing this all the time, then like, take a stand. But this is the easygoing side of me that's kind of saying like, I know you might not like to hear this, but I just might need you to suck it up a little.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
And like, let it kind of happen.
You have to learn to be more lenient.
Yeah.
Or do your routine no matter what.
Yeah. That's what I think. Let her be there. Do your routine no matter what. Be a
And don't
good
apologize
host
for it.
still.
Yeah.
Like, still be a good host, but don't let her disrupt your routines. Like, why should that be disrupting your routine that much? I think it's totally fine to do that. I think that's actually the best way to handle it. But I think in a lot of cases, especially this one, don't let him off scot-free. Or whatever the fucking saying
Yeah.
is. Make him handle it. It's his mother.
He should, and there's also maybe a dual way to handle it. Like, can he give you advice to say, like, she responds better to this type of thing, da-da-da, and, like, I will back you up by this?
I think you and your husband should always align internally first. It's
Yeah.
like a fucking corporate work thing. Before
No,
you
it
go to the
is.
client, you align internally with
You're
your
in a-
team.
I know you're in, like, whatever. People, like, make jokes, and they're like, being married is a contract. But, like, okay. It is. Like, you are business partners sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
there are certain things that take, like, negotiation, partnership, co-working.
Before you go
You're in love,
external-
too, but, like, yeah.
Before you go external, handle it internal. You have to
Yeah,
show
always,
a
always,
united
always,
front.
always. I would never, ever, ever say something like to any member of John's family unless I'd already talked about it to him.
Yeah.
Because most things are like not a big deal at all at the end of the day. Like to me, but it just depends on the person. Like to me, she really might just be like, because she's more type B and like I am also the more last minute person. Like I have no doubt in my mind that she's not intentionally trying to like upset her, the mother-in-law. Like
I just think before she even thinks about going to the mother-in-law, she needs to go to him first and be like, okay, this is why it's bothering me. Like, I need you to see that it bothers me.
yeah.
And I know it doesn't bother you, but because you're my husband and because it bothers me, it should thus be bothering you.
Yeah.
And that way they're united, and that will get him to see like, oh my God, you're right. This does disrupt your routine. This does kind of just cramp our style.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah, and then they go to her together and set a boundary. And you don't have to go mean with pitchforks to her. You just can talk to her.
No. It's all about how you do something.
Yeah.
Like there are ways to set boundaries. This is like for this segment saying like, what are some things that we've learned when having a good relationship with a mother-in-law? But I do think boundaries don't have to be like, I'm setting this boundary.
No.
Boundaries look like all different types of things. Like a boundary could be saying, okay, I know you're coming to stay, but this is what I have planned tomorrow. I don't know what type of space I live in, but like say they lived in a little one bedroom like me. This is what I have planned tomorrow. I need the living room from this hour to this hour. I have to do this. I have to, like if it were me, I'd be like, I have to film content. I have to do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, do you have plans tomorrow? Do you need recommendations of somewhere to go out to lunch? Like I might need the apartment. Like in this way, like I have somebody coming over, da da da. Like, do not be scared to communicate your plans and what you need versus telling them what to do.
And sometimes it might even just be like a matter of going to her and being like, listen, next time you come over, like we just want time in advance, not because we're being sticklers with a stick up our asses, just because the time in advance that we want notice in advance to make sure you're having the best experience when you're here, so that we have time to plan, we have time to take off work if needed, or like whatever. Like it's because we want you to have a good time while you're here. And that might be the thing. Or like you said in your case, or in that case, like it might just be that don't underestimate the power. I'm not telling you to be a liar left and right, but like don't underestimate the power of a little white lie with the in-laws. You could be like, listen, my schedule is so insane with work this month. I have goals to hit. It might not be a good time for you to come, but if you do, I will be gone from these hours. I'll need the living room for these hours. That's like...
And I think though that like because obviously she doesn't have bad intentions and they have a good relationship baseline, all that's going to do is signal to, you know, like her husband's mom that like, oh, wow, she has a lot going on. I might check a few days more in advance next time. Because
that's the best outcome.
Right. Like it's just going to signal to her that like, think about it a little bit more in advance so that you do get to come when you want to come. And the other thing for her also is like, goes back to our doing it all episode, but like let up on yourself. I know you want the house to be in a certain condition, but she's seen it. And this is something I have had to say to John. Cause like I am like we've talked about, I'm a deep cleaner. He's like a picker upper. I and him, like we've worked on saying, if someone has seen our house spotless clean 10 times, they know we're capable of keeping our home clean.
Yeah.
It is okay for them to come over when it's not a 10 out of 10 clean. Like, let yourself off the hook a little. Like, they're not going to think you're dirty. Like, it's fine. And maybe she needs to, like, give herself a little bit of grace in that area. Like, that's not necessary.
This is like with anything in life. When you're hosting somebody, whether it be your in-laws, friends, family, whomever, no one is thinking about you as much as you're thinking about you. That I've learned applies to your house. The amount of people who have come into my apartment and I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's a chaotic mess in here. They're like, Nikki, it's never been cleaner. Like, it looks so nice in here and it smells like a wonderful Christmas candle.
It's just too much to hold yourself accountable for.
Like, nobody cares what your house looks like, including your in-laws. And if they do, then they're
people care if your house smells. And if your house doesn't smell, you're fine.
Yeah. Also, not sponsored at all, but I highly recommend the Pura device for that. Have you ever heard of it?
I started putting the Joe Malone thing at the front of my house now. Everyone is like, because I used to get really worried that it smelled like trash in my apartment.
Yeah. No. The smell is the biggest hosting tip.
Yeah. And it's really the only one that really matters.
In-laws that don't have any boundaries make me frown, but something that makes me smile very brightly is our sponsor, Bride Bright.
Absolutely love Bride Bright. Keeping our smiles wider than ever, which we've both been doing with Bride Bright since our weddings. They have truly always got our backs.
They have 3 versions of their teeth whitening kits. They include a wireless LED light mouthpiece, brush-on whitening pens, and as a bonus, they throw in a desensitizing only pen. This is key because every other like white strip or whitening product out there makes my teeth physically hurt so bad. Bride Bright is the first one that my teeth don't. They provide you with this 3D teeth shade guide so you can actually like track your progress. It's so cool.
So my sister loves a 3D guide. Like, she was showing us all of it over the holidays. John and I do the couples bundle so that we can like both do it and have our own little sets, which is so cute. And also, which I love to gift, is the ring cleaner.
Oh, well.
Everybody loves it. It fits in your purse.
And as we mentioned earlier, we are going into 2024 with the Brighton kits that they have. These include their sonic toothbrushes. They're electric. They have this like LED light in the toothbrush. It's so cool.
If you go to www.bridebite.co, BRIDEBRITE.co, and you use honey, all caps HONEY, you will get 40% off.
Don't forget to stay up to date with all things Bride Bright on Instagram at Bride Bright and TikTok bride_bright.
And in case you missed it the first time, you can grab them at Saks, Bloomingdale's, Anthropologie, and Zola.
Make self-care and oral health a priority in 2024 with Bride Bright. Honey, it's time to rock that $1 million smile.
It's time for Lover War. Lover War is a game where we are going to read scenarios and we flash love. We can get down with it, or war. Kind of self-explanatory, but it's like such a fun game because honestly, at the end of the day, we disagree, and we love that for us.
Love that. Favorite game. Lover War. Mother-in-law chose a white dress for our wedding, citing that it's her most special day.
If you choose love for that, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to fight.
No, I mean war.
Like, are you actually kidding? It's your most special day? What about your wedding? What?
Something with the mother-in-laws of a man.
It's my most special day.
For the wedding? No, like, I just...
It is a special day for all of us, actually, but it's not your most special day. Also, what an insult to the person you married.
Wear pink. You could even do a pale pink.
Oh, my mother-in-law did a pale pink. She looked gorgeous. It photographs kind of ivory in photos. And I was like, I don't give a shit because you looked beautiful.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me, like, at all. Just don't say it's your most special day.
Don't do white. Don't do eggshell. Don't do cream.
Yeah. A lot of these are like that, though. And I just think that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Mother-in-law wants to throw me a shower because she knows my mom cannot afford to. I think that's very sweet.
I think it's love as long as she's not being like condescending about it. This is cynical. Nicole.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Like your mother can't afford it, so I'm gonna.
Oh,
I think the worst of people sometimes.
That actually could be it. I read it like, oh, she wants you to have a shower.
That's a glass half full perspective.
And you're not gonna get one if she doesn't throw it for you, and that's like really sweet.
I love that.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine.
Like, I think this person really
Something you have to watch out for moms, though, when it comes to wedding stuff, like showers, rehearsal dinners, weddings, is that they use it as a chance to flex.
They do, and I always give this advice, and I stand by it. Offer to both moms, if applicable, to do their own shower for their friends. And you just show up. Like, because typically a mom and a mother-in-law just want something of their own to plan. And they want their friends to be there. Their friends that watched their kid grow up is now getting, like, he's now getting married, and they all want to celebrate it. And those friends typically don't even really want to go to the wedding. Because you'll invite people, family friends, that will actually turn it down. And you'll be like, are you kidding? Like, I nixed friends just so that you could be there. Mm-hmm. They want the invitation more than to actually go to the wedding. And so I think if you say, you can plan a luncheon, a bridal luncheon, and I will just show up, or will just show up, and it can be all of your friends, then you have that day for yourself, actually. That's a day for you and all of your friends to be like, oh, wow, this is happening. This is a big deal. But I don't want to plan it. I don't want anything to do with it. And then I have my own shower.
Part of me at first is like, why are you letting these women throw 2 parties just to entertain themselves? But now I'm thinking, I agree with that, because, yeah, if I don't have to lift a finger.
Yeah, I'm not planning it.
Please do, and I'll just get more gifts.
She said this to my mom. I was like, am I crazy for this? And she was like, no. My friends want to throw showers for you. They want to give you gifts. They want to just see that you're like all grown up and have that moment. And it's just about being able to have that time with like the group of women that like was there while you were like, I don't know, growing up. Like they were there when you were in middle school and high school and like whatever it is. And then like that's all they want. They just want to feel like seen and loved in that way. And like you don't have to plan any of it, and like give that to them and let them have that. And then then you're not upset because they're not trying to intrude on like your thing.
Yeah, I like that. I think we can choose to look at this from that positive lens of them just wanting to celebrate you. Like my mother-in-law, I wasn't going to have a bridal shower. At the last second, she was like, you deserve a shower. I will do the work. And she grabbed my sister and they threw it together. Aww. And I'm so glad. Like, I'm very thankful that they did that, because I was being very like weirdly negative about it. I was like, I don't need a shower. Because my friends live all over. I like thought nobody was going to show up to my shower. Like literally, I freak out about a baby shower because of that. Because I have friends up here, but my friends are all over, and I feel like
I guess I don't know if I'll do that either, because they are all over.
Like I don't have that many other like close friends in New York City anymore.
Well, if we get pregnant together, we can just have our
like,
own
it'll be
little.
You and like
we'll just
family.
have a little brunch. We can have a 2 girly brunch where we're both pregnant and can't drink.
I'll do like a giveaway on my Insta, like, listeners, come to my baby shower. I'm not pregnant, by the way, in case anybody's wondering.
But I do think we should have mother-in-law showers.
My mother-in-law calls me a bitch anytime I win the family board game night. Like, legit unleashes.
Why are you still playing board games?
Oh, I love a board
What?
game.
No, like,
That's
no.
what you took away from that?
No. Like, if she calls you a bitch, why are you guys still playing
It's like
with her? Like, if as soon as they say board games, I'd be like, one of us has got to be out, you or me, girly, because this can't be going down.
If my mother-in-law just like,
is it a joke?
Slang around the B word at me, I would just be like, whoa.
Wait, I think I would start crying. I'm a very sensitive girly. I'm pretty sure, like, I would just cry on cue, like on demand. There would be no coming back.
I would just be like, okay.
When your face gets hot and then tears just start coming down and you can't control it.
I wouldn't. I would fight, but
you would.
But yes.
You want to go?
I would just
wait.
Be like, whoa! Nobody asked for that. Like, I don't know. It's just
that's like really terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's war. Father-in-law mandates no checked bags on family vacation. I'll use my status. Thank you very much. 3 checked bags free. I don't want to hear from you again. No checked bags. My toiletries can't even fit. They're over the ounceage.
I can't even relate to this because my father-in-law would never. He's like the coolest, chillest. He like embraces me for who I am. Like, he knows I would check a bag and be fine with it. Mandate, I would be like, sir, who are you? And to tell me, like, you're not my father.
Is that first of all, this might be karma for a joke about the airport dad, but are we missing something and that's actually the airport dad?
The father-in-law?
That, like, you can't check bags.
Yeah, that's an airport dad quality for sure.
Because I'm not going for it.
I mean,
Wait, the mandate's like crazy.
some people are airport drill sergeants, and I agree, checking a bag these days in this economy is tough.
Wait, but Nikki, like, I'll book my own flight and check my own bag. Like, I don't even know who's paying for her. She might be paying for her own flight with free checked bags.
Well, that's the thing. I'd be like, I'm a full-grown adult. Don't tell me what to do.
I will get my own Uber to wherever we are going so that I can wait for my bag.
Yeah. So
They might not even be flying from the same place.
So I think we both agree it's war.
That's just like what a mean thing to be bullied for because I have more clothes than you.
Wait, this is a really good one. My mother-in-law took my baby to see Santa for the first time without asking my permission.
I think we all know how I feel about that.
To say it would be war would be an understatement.
I get it. You wanted to have a little moment, but that's why you had your own babies. Am I wrong? Did you forget to take them to see Santa?
There are certain things that I am going to happily let grandparents do for the first time. Take my kid to the zoo. Take them to the park and slide them down your favorite slide.
I don't even think that I would care about the haircut. Unless they botched it. It's a conversation for a different time.
I would. I want to be there for my kids for Santa.
But Santa? I know they're going to cry. I don't care. I still want to be there.
General
I'm
rule
gonna
of
put you in a
thumb,
cute little Jingle Bell outfit.
before you do anything, just ask permission.
Do you know what one would actually send me is if they took them to get their ears pierced?
Oh, yeah. That's assault.
That is assault.
Don't.
You've actually hurt my child, so.
In that case, I'm calling the cops.
Like, that's actually, like, rude, though. Like, that was really premeditated. You just, like, weren't out. And you were like, let's get Santa.
Yeah.
They probably dressed her up, too. I know it. I just know it in my soul. Mother-in-law loves telling cute stories about her son's middle school, high school relationships. Middle school? Sorry to yell, but, like, that's ill.
That, to me, is just a mother-in-law who, like, cannot move on from son's past. And it's giving, like you're obsessed and just need to get your own life.
Yeah.
This sounds so savage. I don't know. Like, maybe that was an exciting time for her. Her son is getting her first girlfriends. But, like, I would be like, why do you even remember those details / like, know them?
Actually, yeah. Why do you even know? Like, I don't know. Maybe this is, like, me being oldest and bitter. But, like, my mom doesn't know my, like, teachers' names. So why do you know those things? Like,
right. I think this is different because, like, I think this has to do with, like, how much girls tell their moms versus boys. Sometimes boys tell their moms, like, too much.
oh. See, I don't know because I don't, like, know what boys do. I don't have a brother.
Back in the day when my mom was still alive, she knew so much about my life, but, like, she also was so busy in a good way that, like, she wouldn't have cared too much. Like, she wouldn't remember my middle school relationships enough to tell stories because she had her own life.
Do you know what my mom did one time, though? This boy that I was dating in middle school, we went to church together and also school together. And so we didn't know that our moms were friends. And that's the thing about going to a bunch of small schools is, like, all the moms are friends. And, like, you're just, like, too dumb to realize that. So I guess he told his mom that he was taking me to the dance. Mm-hmm. I didn't tell my mom. So I guess this is true. So she somehow knew that he was taking me to the middle school dance, even though I didn't tell her. And he wasn't picking me up to go to the dance. And I didn't want him to because I was going to take pictures with my two best friends in the park. I'm getting ready for the dance. And my mom calls upstairs. They're here to pick you up. He had coordinated with his mom, and his parents drove him to my house to pick me up for the dance.
Good.
And I cried getting in the minivan because all I wanted to do was go take pictures with my friends at the park. I was so upset. I was like, how did you even know I was going to the dance with this boy? You're not even supposed to know.
Yeah.
I guess it's just, if I thought about it, I'm still probably mad at him about it.
Little boys tell their moms too much.
Yeah, he really should have kept his mouth
Stop
shut.
telling your moms so much.
Okay, mother-in-law held a grievances meeting with me after wedding to tell me everything she didn't like.
Absolute war. I know it sounds like we are being so savage this episode, which maybe we are, but y'all's in-laws are insane.
This is great. You guys are saying this. Like, when I tried to tell you freaking hundreds, like,
after the fact.
mind blown. Go hug your mother-in-laws, please, after this episode. Like,
with anything in life, do not come to me with negative feedback on something unless it is to improve something for the future. So a wedding that happens once,
already
don't
done.
come to me with grievances. We're not doing another wedding.
No.
What is your intention, woman? No, nothing. Just to make me regret my wedding? I would literally shut that down so fast.
that's like actually terrible. Okay, dating for 6 years, engaged for 2 months. His mom called me whatever her name is at Christmas.
Wait, the mom goes, yeah, whatever her name is.
After 6 years?
I don't care if it's after 5 minutes. You don't, whatever her name is, I don't even,
That's not even, okay. You know how sometimes, because I had to like kind of train John on this. You know how when a woman says something to you that's really mean, she says it in a way that a guy will never know is mean?
yes.
Okay. So I literally go out of my way to look at John and I'll go, that was a dig. Even if it's not about me. I just am trying to like train his ear, like Marshall in How I Met Your Mother. He was like, when Lily got pregnant, like he was like honed in to like what it meant to be a woman so he could respond on his wife's behalf. So I need John to know now. He'll be like, now he'll look at me and be like, was that a dig? Like he's getting it.
He speaks woman.
I made a joke. I'm like, you're a girl's girl. And my sister was like, no, he's a boy's girl. I'm like, no, a boy's girl is something very different. He is a girl's girl.
Well, yeah, you got to train them because
Yeah.
Mike and men are oblivious.
Mike and men.
Are oblivious. They don't see. They look at the positive too much. They see the best in people too much.
That's too much work for me. We're going to, like, what is the phrase? Lead a horse to water. He'll drink for a day or whatever. Something about teaching somebody to fish. The point is, there's so many subtle ways that she could have said something mean to her daughter-in-law that her like husband would have never even realized were mean. That is outlandish.
That's blatant. You're not even trying to cover the meanness. You referred to me as whatever her name is. Guess what I would do? Next time I address her, her name's Teresa, I'd call her Bethany. I'd say, I'd say.
Shut up. Actually, I would love to see that happen. That I hope. Oh my God, please.
You know what I would do? When we do have kids, I would literally train the kids to call her a grandmother name that she doesn't want to be at all.
Yes.
That's the ultimate revenge.
That is, one of these in here was like something about picking out a grandmother name. And I was like, yeah, I kind of love it because I don't know, like you don't want an ugly grandmother name. That is the winner. That is the winner. I would train them.
Like, I know we sound evil. I would never do that to my actual mother-in-law.
Yeah, well, because they wouldn't do that to us.
Would never call me.
Are you
whatever
kidding?
Her name is.
It's a two-way street. They would never do that to us.
Yeah.
That is sick. If somebody ever did that to me in front of my mother-in-law, she would slap them upside the head. She'd be like, get it correct. Okay. This mother-in-law called her grandma, as in the bride's grandma, to convince her to call off her wedding 2 weeks before the wedding.
I need more details on that. That's a Netflix show.
Some of you guys really need shows. Some of you guys really need shows.
I need the details on that whole dynamic.
Okay. Mother-in-law gifted me a huge framed photo of just my husband at my bridal shower. But what do you mean by huge?
I'd be like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this?
By huge, like, what do you mean? It's obviously not a 5x7. Is it an 8x10? Is it a 12 by? Is this like legal size paper? What are we working with?
Want to know something really funny?
Yes.
One time, Mike's mom gave us, it was really sweet. She printed out a bunch of photos of the two of us.
Yeah.
Not just Mike, like a normal person of the two of us. It was really sweet and thoughtful of us, a bunch of photos from CVS on those like plaque things. And we used them. I love them. But one of them was like a big, like I don't know the sizing, but big above the mantle piece, and it was the ugliest fucking photo of us. She printed out a bunch of them, but one of them was just really big.
Yeah.
The others were small and made a fun.
But you
little
hated it.
collage.
Like, it wasn't a good one.
I just was like, Mike, I was like, we're not gonna put this anywhere. I love you. I love your mom. This ain't going anywhere.
I actually, because this has nothing to do with like intentions or anything. I think it's just like you're your own harshest critic. So when it comes to wedding photos, like seriously, like you need to be the person to tell people like what works and what doesn't work.
These weren't even wedding photos.
It was just in photos. Like the photos that my mother, and I told her this, that she printed of us for our wedding. I was like, really? But I know she thinks that they're stunning. I'm just like, this might have been the worst photo, but like she thinks every photo is beautiful,
right? Yeah.
Whereas my mom is like, it's been 3 years, Caroline, and I can't print anything without your approval because I know that you're going to chew into me.
Smart woman. The intention's there.
No. Yeah, they just think that everything is beautiful. They think that everything is beautiful. That one is like actually funny.
This one writes in, my mother-in-law is always commenting on how much food I eat.
Like,
I don't know if this is love or war. I mean,
didn't you like, wait, what?
When you first read this, my first thought is so toxic. Like, don't comment on my looks. Don't comment on how much food I'm eating. Nothing with the body. Like, stay away from that.
I hate people. I literally just hate people.
But I wonder if it's like in a good way, because my in-laws will do that to me.
It's not in a good way. It's not in a good way because no, she didn't. It's that commenting on the how much you eat is the definition of a guy not knowing that that's a slight, but she knows it's a slight.
Yeah.
Because it's about how she says it.
Just like stay away from the food comments. Even if you're like
terrible.
making a light joke, like, Nicole eats so much.
No, it's terrible. And like, it also teaches like your kids to make comments like that.
It's a fast track to causing eating issues.
That's a huge issue.
This is fun. We'll do more in another episode. But until then, we love you guys so much. Follow us, email us, subscribe.
We are Honey We're Home Pod on Instagram, or you can find us at Caroline Carver Patterson.
Nicole Pellegrino.
And you can email us at honeywe'rehomepodcast@gmail.com. And we love to read your submissions on here. But we hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next Tuesday. Love you.